Welcome to Linn Valley Radio. My name is Colin Vaughn. I'm your host here. This show is called Freedom of Information, and this is part 2 of the night. And some of you probably are very aware as to, what's going on right now. I'm running a campaign to get the police put on the other side of the gates unless there's an emergency or they have a crime to investigate. It'll stop the loitering, and I think that's good cause for that. There's a lot of people that don't feel good about the police here, and I think that comes from certain police officers, and it comes from poor management being ran here. So that's the facts. The chief hasn't been doing a good job. He's letting bad cops continue to be bad, and it's showing. I first ran a poll sampling that said, do you think the Linn Valley Police should be allowed on these private roads through the private gates? And they could answer 4 different options, and this is just stuff that I've gotten from talking to people around here. Some people think, the police should be in here, man. They're old school, or they don't have any problems. They see them as doing good. And then there's other people that are no, and I didn't ask them why. I'm just saying they just said no. They don't want you in here at all. And then there's other people that are like, I got mixed feelings about it. And then there's an answer that I came up with that kind of just, I think, in my opinion, fixes the problem. We know some of you don't want to get rid of the police department here, and it's not like all hell would break loose. We have a sheriff, okay? If for some reason the city gets abolished, and that's an option, by the way, abolishing the city, period, and going back to the way that it used to be is an option. Maybe I'll discuss that here a little bit later. But anyways, so based on the people I talked to, there was this logical answer that came up that kind of satisfies everybody. We don't get rid of the police department. We just don't allow them to come in here and loiter around and just drive around aimlessly. We know there's nothing to do here, and it's boring unless somebody's done something or somebody's been burglarized, which probably barely happens. I don't know the stats on it. But, so yeah, go set up at the police station. You guys could be up there for months with nothing going on. But you don't need to set in here, and you don't need to pull people over for driving around on golf carts, or if they rolled a stop sign, or if they were, doing 2 miles an hour over, or 3 or 4, or whatever pulls your trigger to pull somebody over. You don't need to take any money off these private roads. I'm not the only guy who feels that way. A good majority of the people that live here think it's BS that you come in here and write, I was told 15 to 20 tickets a month out of here, and you guys put nothing back in here. Most of the, half these people in here don't know that when you guys don't do anything for the roads in here, you don't do anything for the parks, you take money off of these roads, and then you provide the same service that took the money off the roads. So you shouldn't be really allowed in here. So we want people to get help if they have an emergency. We want them to be able to call 911, and then we still have a police department. So what better fix is there than somebody calls and you can come in? Otherwise, get out. We don't need you here. That's reality, folks. And the majority of the people that took this sample, and it was a lot. When you're only allowing one IP address to vote, to take a sampling of, I believe it was 50 or 52 homes in here, and there's only, 300 full-time residents. That's a good sampling. That means it's not going to change, and people don't understand that. When you poll something, not everybody has to take it. It is a sampling, and we're saying that if everybody took it, the numbers don't really change. That's how they do, presidential polls. But, now the only disadvantage to this one is I did run it online. So if you're 75 years old and you hate computers, you didn't see the poll. I mean, that's reality. So they're not perfect, but it's still, I'm watching all these people online like throwing a fit about it. What's the problem? All we're doing is running a poll that motions for a vote from the POA. What are you so scared of? If we put together a public vote where every property owner said, hey, we're motioning to put the police out of the gates unless somebody calls 911 or they're doing an investigation, would you like that? Yes or no? What are you so scared of? I know what you're scared of. Most of the people in here don't support the way the police have acted, and they don't want you in here. That's what you're scared of. But if you've got nothing to be scared of, what's the big problem? I mean, if you think they're so cheesy and awesome, and they haven't done anything wrong, and you pull all these shenanigans through the community to try to make them look good, you're working your ass off. No, you know what? The reality is it's been ran poorly by Corey, and we know who the bad cop is that's made most of these people in here feel this way. And shame on both of you folks. It's your own fault. I don't feel bad for putting the limelight to it. And I'm going to the POA on Saturday. I would encourage every last one of you to go, and there's no reason we should not put this to a public vote. All you folks that support the police and you want them in here all the time, you should not be scared at all. If you're so confident that they're so awesome and they've done such a fantastic job here, then when it comes down to that vote, they'll have the majority vote, won't they? But we all know how that's really going to go, don't we? And if I'm wrong, hell, I'm going to pack my shit up and go. I don't want to be here if these guys are going to be running around like they have and taking away what I came here for, and that was to enjoy myself. I don't like coming home from work and feeling like it's a prison camp, and I know everybody else feels the same way. Not everybody, but majority. That's the facts, and they just keep on doing it. Keep on burying yourself. That's real smart. Keep on going up to the front. Keep on parking behind the community center, because you're making me get better numbers to get you guys put on the other side of the gate. So keep on doing what you're doing. I appreciate that. Doing a great job of making people not like you and not appreciate you. That's what you're doing. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we're pushing for. So Saturday, if you want to come down there, and I know that's asking a lot, put in your face to come down there and say, hey, I don't want the cops in here. But you know what? At some point you got to stop being scared and just stand up and say what you believe and make it happen, folks. You got to make it happen. It's not okay. This place was never to be intended to be ran that way, period. But at least I'm willing to say, put it to a public vote. And if more people want the cops in here, running around messing with people or making it feel awkward just sitting there, it makes it feel really awkward to me coming home. And I know there's a lot of people that feel that way. And to be honest with you, when I ran the poll, the numbers were worse than what I thought. The numbers are worse than I thought, and I pulled out all the duplicate IP addresses to make sure that, somebody wasn't voting heavy. I kept it as fair as possible as I could do it. And that's a big slap in the face for everybody. Go look at those poll numbers. And I've got no reason to cook the books at all, because all I'm trying to do is get it on a public vote. I got nothing to gain by skewing the numbers. And if I didn't think that everybody was going to vote the way they would, I wouldn't be pushing for the public vote. Make sense, folks? I've got nothing to gain by making that survey look heavy. Nothing. I've kept it as fair as I could keep it by deleting any duplicate IP addresses to make sure that the survey could stay as authentic and as real as possible within my control. But everybody needs to take a real good look at that. That's a big slap in the face once again, because the police department is being ran poorly. And you've acted poorly. And now it's all coming back in your face. So, I don't feel bad about it at all. Now, I've got obviously personal experiences out of it where I was harassed by Joe and we had to go to court. And that man harassed me and my family over and over and over. And I know he's harassed a bunch of people in here. And, and I don't care if somebody's got a criminal record or they've been pulled over before for doing something. So what? So what? And that's what everybody's trying to say. Oh, all the people that are voting in that poll are the ones that have been arrested and they're bad. So what? So what? They still are people, and they still have the right to say if they don't want them in here, if they're property owners. So get over it. Doesn't matter. They've been taken advantage of, for all you know. I can tell you, there ain't a doubt in my mind that there has been corruption and people taken advantage of by the police force here at a high level. I mean, it's easy to see, and you can see it from the people. Real simple to me. I mean, it's crystal clear. And I don't know why everybody's so... Well, actually, I do know why everybody's scared, but if your cop force is so awesome and everybody loves them, putting it to a public vote, you should have no problems with it. You should have no qualms. You should sit up there and be like, yeah, go ahead and do it. And you're not going to, because you're scared shitless that you're going to lose out on that. And it's really not a big deal. What does it do? What does it do inconvenience-wise? What does it do? Oh, they're an extra 1,000 feet away? It's going to take another 30 additional seconds to get here, and I understand time is important. But, you know what else is important? Is selling property in here. You know what else is important? Making sure the property owners feel good about having a place here in Linn Valley. There's a other side to it that's got a lot more benefits than not. And how do you make everybody happy? To me, that's the solution. You put the cops on the other side of the gates, unless somebody calls 911 or there's an emergency, they can come right on in. Or if they're investigating a crime because somebody's place was broken into, come on in. Otherwise, go sit up there and play video games at the police department. I mean, I don't know how the hell you guys do what you do. There's nothing going on here. I mean, how do you have 4 different officers for this place? There's 799 property owners. I'm boggled. Please help me. I've never seen this in my life. It's just insane how this is possible. And what a waste of tax dollars. And why should you be allowed to even come in here and write tickets? You should never be able to write a ticket in here. These are property owners that pay dues. You shouldn't take any money off of these roads because you put nothing back in on these roads. You put nothing back in on the parks. Does everybody understand what I'm saying is 100% the truth? Call City Hall if you don't think I'm telling you the truth and say, hey, I got a pothole out front. Can you guys put this on your repair list? And they're going to go, we don't do the roads there. You need to call the POA. That's what they're going to tell you. Tell them you'd like the park improvements in here. Call the city and tell them you want, hey, do you guys have any plans to do any park improvements? Watch what they'll tell you. We don't do parks where we can't do nothing in there. That's the POA. It's always the POA, the POA, the POA. The only thing they provide is police, fire, and EMS service, as well as they do now do the maintenance on the lagoons for the sewer. Otherwise, there's no money coming back in, folks. I mean, why would you allow these cops to come in and loiter around and make people uncomfortable? It's just unacceptable. It's not healthy for this community. It's not healthy for growth. And at some point, you got to face the music on it. And in my opinion, and a bunch of us, we say, hey, put it to a public vote. And you know what'll happen? If their side wins and they get to stay, there'll probably be a bunch of us that just sell and leave, and we don't want to be, a part of it. And then if they don't get to come in here, I can see it flourishing and blossoming and people going, oh man, this is the best thing ever. Attitudes changing, and you got to live with that. Majority rules. So that's the reality of it. So who knows how it's all going to play? That's all I got for part 2. My name is Colin Vaughn. Thanks for listening. This is Linn Valley Radio. This show is called Freedom of Information. Have a fantastic evening.